Hey there, this is a short tutorial on how to do heads-up digitizing with scanned raster image in QGIS. We're going to work today with an old archival map of a neighborhood called Linentown, which is here in Athens, Georgia, where I am. We're going to try to digitize just a few parcels and walk through the process of how that works. So you can see this map's already been geo-referenced. If I were to use Quick Map Services, plug in and pull in OpenStreetMap, you can see that it lines up pretty well with what is now a parking deck, but was once upon a time a residential neighborhood. If we wanted to go ahead and scan these images, we'll zoom into just one section here. And to do this, we're going to need to set up a new layer where we're going to store these new, in this case, these polygons that we're going to work with. So we're going to go ahead and pull these in, or create this new layer by going under Create Layer. I'm going to create this as a GeoPackage layer in an already existing GeoPackage file that looks like that. I'm going to call it Parcel 1 because I already have a parcels layer. I want to do polygons here, and then the projection is just going to be WGS84. Just keep it basic. Then you can add attribute table fields here if you want to. We're not going to mess around with that today. That's something you can add in later if you want to. If you want to do it as you go to, sometimes that's easier, but for the purposes of this demo, we're just going to walk through it. So I'll go ahead and click OK. Over right, there's already a layer there. And then what we're going to do here is start with the digitizing process. So we're going to go ahead and hit Edit here. And we're going to want to start creating polygons. Now, the first polygon, we can just zoom in and start in a corner. Oops, sorry, I have to create the polygon up here. So add polygon feature up in the editing toolbar. Go ahead and click on a corner. I'm just going to trace it. So I'm clicking, click. It's just a left click. And then when I've got the polygon, I right click. It'll say if you want to add in field information here for the attribute table, you can. We just have an FID field right now. And there's my new polygon. Maybe not quite as precise as I would want, but it's pretty close. Now we're going to add the polygon next to it. And one of the things we want to make sure is that any edges or vertices are shared. And we do that using the snapping tool. In QGIS 3, that tool looks like this. If this doesn't show up for you, you should just be able to go under View, Toolbars, and you'll see the snapping toolbar listed there. I'm going to go ahead and click and turn it on to start with. I'm going to choose, doesn't really matter which, if I use all layer or active layer, the active layer is the parcels. I'm going to choose a tolerance, that is when will it snap. You can choose to either do it in pixels or meters, which is the unit of reference for this layer. I'm going to use meters. And then I'm going to say that we can snap on intersection and do topological editing. So the snap on intersection tool, I believe, make sure that the edges line up well. So now when you see when I go over these corners, the vertices of this polygon show up. If I turn the snapping tool off, I don't get those little boxes. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to select these two vertices to get this next parcel boundary. And then I believe you have to then turn off the snapping tool here in order to put in new vertices. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This, and when I'm done, I just right click and choose OK, and that one's done. We'll do one more just to fill out this block. So again, I do turn on snapping, do this, and then when I turn this off, click here, and click here. And now I've got those three parcels listed in there. If I right click on the layer and open the attribute table, you can see that I've got all three of them there. And they should, is when I turn off editing, which I'm going to do here, click on Save. And now if I open the attribute table, you can see that there's feature IDs listed for all of them. And I've got my new polygon listed there, layer listed there. So it's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty handy tool to use. When you've got a lot of parcels to do, this isn't too bad. But when you've got a lot to do, it can take a little bit of time. But you can put on some music and just kind of, it can be a little soothing. So anyway, that's how you do some heads-up digitizing in QGIS.